Welcome to the Sleep to Dream Analytics Explainer video, where better sleep starts with better understanding. All right, let's talk about something that I'm willing to bet affects a lot of us. The really surprising and sometimes super frustrating way our everyday medications can completely mess with our sleep. I mean, you've definitely been there, right? You pop an allergy pill, and an hour later, you can barely keep your eyes open at your desk. Or maybe you start a new antidepressant, and suddenly you're wide awake, just staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning. It's not just you, I promise. And there's a really fascinating reason why it happens. So to really get what's going on, we gotta look inside our own heads. Because every single second of every day, there's this incredible biological battle happening, a constant tug-of-war for control between being awake and falling asleep. Okay, so let's break down this battle. What's actually happening? Well, it all boils down to two opposing teams of neurons in your brain, and they're both fighting to control the master switch for your consciousness. So let's meet the contenders. In one corner, you've got Team Wake Up. These are the neurons that are all about alertness, firing off signals like histamine to keep you focused and on your game. And in the other corner, we have Team Sleep. Their strategy? To quiet everything down using an inhibitory signal called GABA. It's this constant struggle. When one team's winning, the other one has to be losing. Let's zoom in on the captain of Team Wake Up, histamine. Now, you probably think of histamine and allergies, right? But in your brain, it's a super powerful neurotransmitter, and its main job is to keep you awake. You can seriously think of it as your brain's own natural shot of espresso. And for Team Sleep, their most valuable player is, without a doubt, GABA. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which is just a sciencey way of saying it's the brain's main brake pedal. When GABA gets released, it's basically telling all your other neurons to just slow down, quiet down, and get ready for some rest. So, you've got this perfectly balanced system, right? Team Wake Up, Team Sleep, everything's humming along. But then, we introduce an outside player, medication. This is where things get interesting, because these drugs can accidentally pick a side in this daily battle. In this quote right here, it absolutely hits the nail on the head. A drug's main purpose, say to reduce your anxiety, can turn into a really annoying side effect, like making you sleepy all day, simply because of when that effect is happening. It's all about the timing. So here's the crucial thing you gotta remember. Medications aren't smart bombs. They can't just target one little thing. A pill you take for depression that targets serotonin doesn't only work on your mood. Since serotonin is also a key player for Team Wake Up, that drug ends up messing with your sleep-wake balance too. It's like a classic case of collateral damage. Okay, let's tackle the big one first. The one we've all felt. Drowsiness. Why is it that your allergy pill makes you want to crawl under your desk for a nap? Well, it turns out there are basically two ways a drug can knock you out. A medication can either give a power-up to Team Sleep, or it can totally sabotage Team Wake Up. Let's see how. The first way is all about slamming on the brain's brake pedal, but harder. Drugs, like benzodiazepines, which are often used for anxiety, work by juicing up the effect of GABA. It's like they're handing Team Sleep a megaphone and turning the volume up to 11, making its quiet down signal way, way louder. The second path, it's pure sabotage. This is exactly what's going on with those older first-generation antihistamines. They actually cross over into your brain and physically block the histamine receptors. They're basically putting a gag on Team Wake Up's captain so that alertness signal never even gets heard. And the result, of course, is drowsiness. Okay, so that's sleepiness. But what about the flip side? Let's talk about why some of the most common medications out there can leave you wide awake and counting sheep all night long. Well, you've probably guessed it. If drowsiness is all about helping Team Sleep or blocking Team Wake Up, then insomnia is the complete opposite. These drugs are basically handing Team Wake Up a giant energy drink and telling them to pull an all-nighter. The main way this happens is through something called reuptake inhibition. This is how a lot of common antidepressants work. So normally, your brain sends out a wake-up signal, like serotonin, and then it kind of tidies it up. But these drugs stop that cleanup process. It means those alertness signals just hang around in your brain for way longer, keeping the lights on when you're trying to shut them off. Let's use a real-world example, like fluoxetine. You might know it as Prozac. Its primary job is to boost serotonin to help with depression. Awesome. But remember, serotonin is on Team Wake Up. So a huge common side effect is totally disrupted sleep. People report trouble staying asleep, waking up more often, and it can even suppress REM sleep, which is your dream stage. So, we've covered feeling sleepy and feeling totally wired, but, and this is really important, the story doesn't end there. The impact of these drugs goes way deeper than just how many hours of sleep you're getting. Yeah, because even if you manage to get those 8 hours, the medication might be messing with the actual structure of your sleep. We're talking about sleep architecture, the different crucial stages your brain needs to cycle through every single night for you to feel rested. And the effects here are pretty wild. For instance, tons of antidepressants and benzodiazepines are famous for suppressing REM sleep. That's critical for memory and learning. But then you have a drug like trazodone that can actually increase your deep restorative sleep. And some meds can even trigger or worsen physical things like restless leg syndrome, which makes quality sleep feel pretty much impossible. So, after all of this, what is the one thing you should remember? It's this. Your sleep and wakefulness are governed by a really delicate chemical balance, and every single medication we've talked about is basically just tipping those scales one way or the other. And look, this isn't just interesting science trivia. This is knowledge you can actually use. The next time you feel a side effect, instead of just saying, I feel tired, you can have a much smarter, more informed conversation with your doctor about why it might be happening and what your options are. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Knowing everything we just talked about, think about this. If you take a drug that causes insomnia in the morning versus at night, or a sedating one at bedtime instead of with breakfast, how much could that simple change affect your life? It really makes you think that sometimes the answer isn't just about what you take, but when. Thank you for watching the Sleep to Dream Analytics Explainer video. We hope you sleep well and dream easy.